Hi, my name's Charles and I'm one of the maths teachers from the Maxim workshop. I'm just going to now teach you how to do some maths. I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations. Now, the first thing you need to know about quadratic equations is the general form. Whenever you're trying to identify whether you've got a quadratic equation, you have to check if you have this: ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? Now, a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is your constant. Now, with these two, a and b, coefficient is just a jazzy name for a number that multiplies by, okay? So, a multiplies by x squared and b multiplies by x. Now, we're going to insert some numbers just to give you a feel of what a quadratic equation looks like. And most of you should already know. So, we've got 1 for a, just to keep it simple at first, plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so this is the equation that we're going to start off with. Now, of course, we need to be able to solve our equation. And that means we need an equal sign if it's going to be an equation. Now, what we're trying to do is see where these values of x makes this whole equation go to 0. Now, in order to do this, we're going to use factorization, okay? Factorization is just basically putting our quadratic equation into two brackets, so it makes it more easier to see where the solutions lie. So the first thing we're going to do is get our two brackets. And for this, we notice that we've got an x squared, so we've got our two x's here. So this multiplies by this. Now this will also multiply by this, and our term here will multiply by the two terms inside this bracket. Now the first thing we want to do is see what are the factors of this particular number, i.e. the constants. So the factors of 1 are basically just 1 and 1. So those are the only two numbers that we can use. As well, with this number, we need to identify the factors of this number as a summation to acquire this number. So if you look at these two factors here, 1 and 1, when added together, it produces 2. So the only solution is 1 and 1. So we've got 1 positive here and 1 positive there. Now, in order to make this bracket go to 0, x has to be a particular number, and in order to make this bracket go to 0, x also has to be a particular number. Now we can see for this bracket, x is going to be negative 1, okay? Similarly, if we take a look at this, it just so happens that x is also negative 1. So the solution, the two solutions that we have are the same number, okay? So x equals negative 1 is the value that takes this equation to 0. And that's how to solve quadratic equations.